Restart. Good for the restart.
Okay. Okay, go ahead now.
Okay, guys. Thanks for appearing here this evening. So many great guys that I haven't seen for the last 50 years. My aim at this point in time is to give you guys a recap on the planning of the reunion 2021. Johnny, first slide, please. Well, my journey, guys, I want to take you down a trip down memory lane. Johnny, could you change this?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Slide? Okay.
There
So I'm taking you guys on a trip down memory lane. As most of the guys, besides the guys from the 80s and the 90s who are here on the chat, I started my journey in GBSS in 1971, and you can see me there in that little short pants. So I started going from the lane down to GBSS in a little short pants, and you can see in this slide a number of features that reminds me of GBSS, the Tantine playing field, and the Rongzabod, Raw Gardens, and Granans Beach, and the idea of we going to River Road and play cricket in Queen's Park and stuff like that. So all of that is represented. And then after graduating in 1979, I left Grenada on a scholarship to Cuba, but that then subsequently took me to the GDR, German Democratic Republic, where I had the task of coming here for at least 7 years before returning to Grenada. But in that period, things happened and I ended up staying in Germany until today, as you can see, 50 years down the road from the time I meet you guys at GBSS, and since 1980 coming here, so that's 40 years, 41 years on the dot. So why I came here was to study geology, but with the intention of returning to Grenada, but things that happened funnily in this life, and I ended up having my own family here, as you can see in some of those photos here, and the places that I went to in my journeys as a geologist throughout the world in that sense. So we can move on. So that is just to give you an idea of who I am and why did I go to the GDR in the 1970s. As guys who entered in 1971 know that we had a series of turmoils in our history of education at GBSS. As you can see from the photos, that was the triumph of the Grenada Revolution 1979 with our comrade leader, Morris Bishop, taking care. And you can see the NGM team that at the bottom with respect to the guys at the top. Those are the guys who actually were in prison for the murder of Morris Bishop. And we see some of our comrades here who disappeared from us in the 1975 era, 76 era, and I didn't see them in Form 6, so I didn't know when they ended up. But so we see those soldiers, Porgy and Harrow, and now we go into another area of other GBSS graduates, and you guys can just look at the campus and see all the guys from the 1960s, those from the 1970s, and in the present day to the right. All these are the GBSS scenarios that we hope to wipe up in you guys, or not all, in going back to the reunion. I would say my journey, I've been missing Grenada, I've been missing all you guys since I left in 1979, or since some of you guys disappeared in the mid 70s and in the 1979 class that Timmy and those guys belong. So we could move on. So that's just an impression of GBSS and why it is necessary, or what sparks me off to want to have a reunion with everybody. And again, the 1980s was plagued with problems due to the revolution, and that is a protest march for Bernadette Bailey and her sister who was injured, and another two died on June 19, 1980. I was also damaged there because I took the Anglican high school girls there, and I got damaged in the bomb blast at the door, being trampled upon. So the 1980s, and some of you youths would understand what happened to GBSS. So the reunion really started quite a long time. The reunion started when guys meet each other at different points in Grenada, in Toronto, and then in the Caribbean after the Berlin Wall fell down. It was the first time that I'm coming back into the Western world and meeting up with brethren from who had never seen since after leaving GBSS. And then we have the Cuban brethren who also came back to Grenada in 1988, among them many GBSS boys. And again here with Royston and other brethren in New York, Ned. And so this is where the reunion started. Every time brethren met in Grenada, in New York, in whatever part of the world, they will always talk about, let us reunite some point in time before things take its own course. So let's move on. As the journey began, we also were meeting on different occasions in Grenada. I was there in 2011 when I returned to Grenada after 40 years, or 30-something years, to take over the geothermal and energy situation. I happened to have met Kirani that year, 2012, when he won in Guelph and run around the city with him. And so these are some of the things that you guys would remember in GBSS, great athletes like Everett Samuel, who is a great cyclist, guys like Glenn and Glenn who are here, a different situation. These guys are representing Grenada in the Revolt time somewhere in the Soviet Union. And then we have footballers like Kessie, who is playing in New York in those days. So GBSS is always omnipresent. Let's move on, guys. So that is where the reunion really started, in these small ad hoc situations. And again here, guys, it is for me a pleasure to be with you guys. I've seen you guys as my family. Being alone here as the only Grenadian, only West Indian in this part of the globe for the last so many years that I'm here, over 41 years. My dream was always to reconnect with you guys and say, so we are a family. We could be blood family. And here I would highlight my Ruby Porgy family. That Porgy was always so generous to share his stories. This is also the aim of my presentation, is to appeal to you guys that the reunion consists of you telling stories about GBSS, about yourself, your bio, in whatever form you may choose. And of course, we celebrated with animals. Just recently, about a week ago, Johnny lost his best friend. I lost my best friend, my cat. So we celebrate as a family, everybody, every entity that makes us happy. And my greatest family that I've been missing was the hostel boys, the guys that lived in Bakes when we were doing our A-level. And sorry, we are missing really greatly Jughead, as we can see in this bottom picture here. And some of the other guys when we hung out in Pebbles, I guess after we finished exam. So we were chilling and feeling good. New life as would begin into adulthood. Let's move on. So
one minute.
Yes, let's move on. And so at the end of the day, these are the type of GBSS students that have achieved. And so we can move on, or other people. Let's move on, Johnny, please. So at the end of the day, I want us to make GBSS great again. We want to pass on the baton. As we see GBSS, guys like Johnny Walker came from Westmoreland School into GBSS. And today we want to take that level of excellence, and so that Porgy grandkids will have the option of saying, we want to go back to GBSS and not the other private school. And we are one family, we are in a boat, and the reunion started in a number of different ways. Don't just slip on further, please, so that we can kill it. And sorry, guys, at this point in time, these are brethren who are missing our reunion, because sadly they are resting in peace at the moment. All these brethren here who were planning with me, especially Bullframe, we wanted to have done this in 2019 for 40 years of the other GBSS alumni. Let's move to the end, Johnny. There's one more slide. And so, guys, we have been meeting. Move on, please. Move on. Move on. So that I don't waste that time. So in the reunion that we started virtually in 2019 and moving to 2020, we were discussing a number of different topics. As you can see, COVID, we were discussing God and the world, we were discussing issues in Grenada, we were discussing Kickom Jenny. So the reunion has brought a number of different topics on board where guys have been contributing daily in making the reunion virtually a success. Let's move on, please, Johnny.
Okay, that's the end, Carlo. I'm going to move on to Shelly Ann now.
Last one, please.
That's the last one. I'm going to move on to Shelly Ann now. Shelly Ann, I think you're on. Just to introduce you, Shelly Ann has been working with us. Shellyanne, if you unmute, she is the counselor of the school and has been really helping to help us to give back to GBSS. So Shellyanne, if you can hear me, you want me to unmute, and you have 5 minutes to just share about the things that the GBSS Foundation can benefit the school.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My apologies for being late. It's really a pleasure to be here in this forum to promote the Grenada Boys Secondary School Alumni International. From the time that they made contact with our principal and connected with the school, right? We have been getting a lot of support, a lot of encouragement from them. And I was appointed by the principal to be the liaison between the school and the alumni so that they can be abreast as to what's happening at the school, as well as understand the needs and the challenges facing the school at this time. So as of date, the alumni was able to engage the school in providing a document for the school, each of the departments of the school, to list the needs and resources that they will need for their respective department. And during that process, I was one of the department, the counseling office, that listed certain resources to cater for the psychosocial emotional needs of our students. So things like stress ball, art therapy books, as well as rubrics to help with anxieties and depressions and so forth. They were able to source those resources and provide it to the office
What
so
do you
that
mean?
we could provide more support from my end to the
No, but
students.
use the thing and just hold it and
In addition to that,
outside, put it
someone
down
saying something?
and then put it back up.
Plunger, you mean?
No, the stuff to flush it. It's not
Royston,
holding.
Royston,
Hello?
mute
Hi.
Could you mute, please?
Yeah.
Carry on, Shellyanne.
Hello? Oh,
Carry on.
okay. Someone was saying something?
Yeah, they just got on. Go ahead.
Oh, okay then. Right. So they are also working on raising funds to provide the other departments with their requested resources as well. In addition to that, Mr. Samuel, right, and his engineering company had suggested to have a essay writing competition, and they sponsored the prizes towards it. And the topic was the leader I most admire. And with the English department headed by Dr. Patrick and her team of English teachers, they were able to organize and rally all the boys to participate and did their proper research in preparation for that essay writing competition. And it was executed perfectly, I would say. And the boys participated. We had over 500 boys participating. And from that, they were able to correct and assess accurately and chose the winners. And the prizes were monetary prizes. So that was quite an incentive from Mr. Samuel, Everett Samuel. And they are also motivated to have more competitions, even in the new school year coming up, hopefully in the essay writing, to encourage writing from our students. So such initiatives and motivations help our students to, go that extra mile in doing their best. In addition to that, we also have started the mentorship program with Mr. Carl Roberts. He already started to engage one of the students in the Form 4 area and to provide that support and guidance using the GROW model mentorship outline, which I'm sure Mr. Johnny Walker will elaborate further on. But to provide guidance, support, help the boys chart their way forward in terms of their career choices and what they need to be mindful of, and to be a mentor, father-like figure to the student to motivate, because a number of our students, especially the boys, are from single parent homes, right? And mostly headed by the mother. So it's really good to have positive, male, successful individuals who can experience, their wealth of knowledge to students, to boys, to guide them in a way. So far, this is so far what we have accomplished, and I find within the short space of time, it's a lot, and hoping for more collaboration in the future, and even looking forward to when everybody come in at the end of this year for the grand reunion and the upcoming career day, which we are working with them towards. Thank you.
That's great, Shelly, and thank you so much. Just for a reminder, guys, you remember this picture? It's one of the few pictures we have of our past staff, and I just did it as an interim before Roger Duncan, who I hope Roger is on. He went off for a second, but I hope you're on, Roger. Roger is was president of the PTA and also a cooperative bank senior manager. And Roger was just going to give a few little, I'd like to embellish what Shelly Ann was sharing, just for, as a parent and as a keen part of GBSS. So Roger, go ahead if you're there. Please unmute.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Is hearing me? Afternoon, sorry.
Yeah, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Right. Okay.
You got 5 minutes.
Sure. So I'm just going to touch just briefly on the parent and governance perspective of the alumni 1990s. I'm part of a group that we call ourselves the Centennial Boys, having entered the GBSS in 1985, which was the 100-year anniversary of the school. And of course, graduating class of 1990s. Our gathering was or is primarily focused, like every other group, I'm sure, on supporting the Grenada Boys Secondary School. But initially, we took a very strategic perspective, understanding that we need to be sure that the governance. Sorry? We need to be sure that the governance structure of the school is well engaged so that our...
Sorry, somebody needs to mute. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah. Like I was saying, primarily we need to focus on the governance and oversight of the school so that our contribution and support can be much more meaningful and purposefully. Now, what we have is a situation currently where you have a government body that is defunct. The Ministry of Education, through the minister, seen the need to activate the management board of all government-owned schools, that's including the GBSS, and in recent time would have selected or shortlisted rather, a number of professionals that the ministry think can give that support to. The last time when we meet, I indicated that I was waiting on a meeting and didn't hear anything. Interestingly, when I followed up, I understand that there was already a first meeting and I was recorded absent because they couldn't get in touch with me, strange enough. Nevertheless, that meeting of the management board did not last too long, given that I think the cart, from what was explained to me, the cart might have been in front of the horse, given that you had persons already as surrogates appointing themselves certain roles and responsibilities, and the minister herself was not even there. Now, I want to sound a very big alarm at this time, understanding that given how the management board is going to be instituted at those schools, we have to be very wary that that we don't have a situation, and that is just my personal worry, of political invasiveness into the school, and as a result, risking that we lose the DNA of what GBSS really is. Now, the governing body is something totally different to what this management board that is enshrined in the Education Act. And if it attempts to replaces the governing body, which not to show, then we have a problem. And I'm calling on this group and others to follow. That is something we need to take a look at. The existing governing body constitutes the principal, the rep from the Parent Teachers Association, the Old Boy Girls Association, the Ministry of Education, the Grenada Union of Teachers, the Students' Council. The structure of the management board does not have that kind of constitution. And so what could likely happen is erosion of what we want out of GBSS, what we want out of Grenada boys, men of the future. You could just have a blanket approach right across the government school. I'm sure this is not what we want for our GBSS. So at this time, I think it's very important that we engage any legal minds that is part of this group or any past boys to really help inform how we should proceed, because politicians will be politicians and you can't blame them for that. But politicians need the guidance and input from us as Old Boys in Association as to what we want the school to be. And of course, from civic society. This is why the existing governing body, though defunct, had this unique structure around it.
1 minute, Ron Georgia.
It's a crisis of governance currently that we need to look into, and urgently for that, right? The strategic perspectives and objectives that will be derived from whatever vision this oversight body would give to us, like I've said, would obviously align us as contributors and supporters, and able to, in a very purposeful and meaningful way, contribute to the growth of the school.
Thanks, Roger. Somebody's disrupting. Are you finished, or you wanted to summarize? Okay, thank you for that. That's a very sober report, but we're here to be together and hold hands as we move forward. So thank you so much for that insight, both yourself and Shelly-Ann. So I'm going to move on and then to Timmy Daniels in Texas. Timmy, you have a big sheet here, bro, and you have 5 minutes. So Timmy's going to just share a little bit about the reunion. Many of you have seen this as we've been working, goodness me, almost a year now about this. And there are two aspects. The black aspect is what is the underground events that we hope to run, and the green aspects are what Dwight of the 80s is going to bring in and share with us of a virtual reunion at the same time. So Timmy, if you could unmute and we'll go over to you. Thank you.
Yes, Johnny, thank you so much. I'm here with my comrades Ken Roy and Dennis George. They're right here with me.
Fantastic.
So, I think I have a lot of support. And so I would like to welcome everybody. All the sisters and brothers from different parts of the world, welcome, Ringham and all those guys, and then from England and everybody else. I just want to quickly say that I've worked with a group of guys for the last probably 6 months, organizing this reunion. We meet bi-weekly, and these are really dedicated guys. I give my hats out to them. I mean, the Father's Day, July 4th, it doesn't matter what. Those guys put out their time and the effort to put this thing together. Now, just before I go into the schedule, I also want to mention that that led to the formation of the GBSS Alumni International Foundation, which actually...
Sorry, could that person mute, please?
Will that be the case in this match? And will this be the day?
Royston, please mute yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Yeah, so anyway, that led to the formation of the GBSS Alumni International Foundation. We actually had a certificate of formation in Texas, and we also have a certificate of formation in Grenada. So a lot of efforts and a lot of work has been behind the scenes, forming a legal entity in the US and a legal entity in Grenada. So with that, we know I can move forward in discussing the reunion activity. I think you guys may see it on your computer or your phone or wherever you're looking at. The first event is on the evening of the Thursday, December 16th. The evening we want to have a welcome event where we have drinks and so on. The place has not yet been decided upon. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the place has not been decided upon yet, the exact spot, but the event planner that we hire is in the process of putting that together. So that's the evening of the Thursday evening. We're also going to have a Zoom meeting during that time for people who cannot attend the actual event. Hopefully, virtually, they can meet with other folks. The following day, which is the 17th, we launched the official reunion at the GBSS auditorium. And that's where we're going to have the welcome with the teachers and the staff and some of the students and so on. And that's supposedly scheduled for maybe 10 a.m. to 12:30. At the same time, there's also going to be, I think that time there will be a Zoom virtual history by the class of the 80s. So virtually there will be a Zoom discussion of the history of GBSS during that time. On the Saturday, we plan to have a picnic at a Bathway so that at least the folks could have something in the countryside. So we'll have the picnic on the Saturday, and there's also another Zoom from the guys of the 80s on health issues of Grenada on that Saturday. So people can participate. If they're not able to make it on the beach, they can, do something with the Zoom with the class of the 80s. On the Sunday, we hope to have an ecumenical service. So most of us who hopefully will be able to attend that, and that will be held at the GBSS auditorium. Most of the folks involved would be pastors and ministers of past GBSS guys leading that ceremony. And actually, Zorina is in charge of that. Zorina is helping to spearhead that.
2 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, so let's split it up. The Sunday also, we hope to have a sporting event in the afternoon. So hopefully guys can play some cricket or whatsoever, or table tennis or lawn tennis or anything that they want to do that Sunday afternoon. And then also a Zoom on religion and spirituality in Grenada for people who cannot be physically out there. And then the Monday will be a big day at the school, because that will be the career day activity where we will be having lots of the students back, and a lot of guys, past students, where they will be able to talk about different careers and see if the students have any interest. There is also going to be a Zoom forum at that day, looking at climate change in Grenada's development. And then the Tuesday, they hope that there will be a little tour with Gallo and some of the guys looking at some of the geological sites and climate change areas, exploring Grenada's environmental. So there will be a bus tour. And then the final thing is on the Wednesday, December 22nd, we'll be having that big closing evening dinner where we'll have, award ceremony and speeches, and maybe hopefully we'll be able to give awards to some of the teachers and recognize some of the teachers and students and past students. So that will be the grand finale. Hopefully everyone can attend, those who may be late in joining earlier sessions.
Thank you, Timmy. That's great. Fantastic. And just to remind everybody, if you have any questions, if you put it in the chat, then Everard will collate them and we can ask them afterwards. So we're going to move on now very swiftly to Dwight. Dwight is a very active member of the class of 81. Dwight is based in Virginia as a physician. So Dwight, please go ahead, please unmute and share, and I'll go to your slides right now.
All right, thank you, Johnny, and greetings to everyone from the GBSS-AIF, and a shout out to Everett for his inspiring piece that he shared with us, and for Carl and his mentoring at GBSS mentoring program, and a shout out to my classmates, Hakuna Matata, no worries. It was during my last session here that a discussion was occurring regarding the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And there were key phrases in our discussion. For example, the 70s class, the influence they expressed towards our institution. In my class, we had lots of ideas, and we just heard from Duncan in regards to the authority or the governance of the institution. But focusing on the class of 1981, it was on May 10th, 2019, when we started a WhatsApp conversation with two members, myself and Kenneth Lawrence. And during that discussion, I went into my archive and I found the speech night brochure, which I always carry with me, and hopefully you guys can see this, speech night brochure from back of Thursday, the 17th December, 1981. And the thought came about that we should have our 40th year reunion. And we started the discussion and we start having the nostalgic conversation with how many headmasters we went through in GBSS and the influence the revolution had on us and the conflict we had when the merger of high school and GBSS was in discussion, the she and he merge of the secondary schools, and saying goodbyes to some of our stalwarts who were there before us, Snuff and Brazan and the others as they move on. So our class saw much transitions. And during that discussion, we shared much. Even last night, we spent 4 hours just discussing about our experience in GBSS. We share experience, we encourage each other. We allow that space, that WhatsApp space, to be a space of ideas, to form collaboration, ask questions. You know, our journey, where we are in terms of our health. The word that we use often is that we are on the other side of 50. And so we share our life experience. And surprisingly, there was some networking in the background because there are many of us who have same ideas. And we are in the process of developing a support structure among ourselves. And the thought is that as we collaborate, we will be further. So my cry out to you, shout out to you, participate in the reunion 2021, whichever class you are in, get that niche and just let's synergize and grow. Next slide. Now, our class focuses on skill sets and to share to our community. We have conversations, we have ideas, we engage and inform using science, data, and our spirituality. We do a lot of that. That's why our conversation are very lengthy. And within our reunion, our objective is to use a hybrid format. That format is more webinar because we still have some questions regarding the quarantine nature of Grenada in December. So those folks on the ground, they will participate, and the folks of us who are in the States who may not be able to travel, we want us to have that union. We'll also have some hotspots. Those hotspots is visiting folks at their house where we have a cookout, just old chat and have a couple of drinks where possible. And in our webinar, just like what we are doing here, it's not strange, we're gonna have series of discussion. One of the discussion headed by David James, who is in California now, religion and spirituality. We had lots of discussion in that realm. We have a couple pastors in our group, and they will spearhead that discussion. The history of GBSS, Stevenson Worm will moderate that. Stevenson has written a book on GBSS history, and he's in the process of updating that. And we have asked him to participate in that webinar or be in person at the inauguration of the reunion. Wow. Myself will be dealing with health matters. As we are on the other side of 50, what are our health concerns? What are the misinformation that is occurring in health about the messenger RNA or the CRISPR gene or gene editing? These are very important things for us to know about so that we won't have doubts of our health issues in the future and the importance of getting the youth to get involved in medicine. Infodemics will be moderated by Kenrick Lawrence. We'll be questioning, what is global warming? Is that real? We'll be questioning about the COVID. What does the science say about that? We'll be asking doctors on the ground who are within our class to share their experience, remove the misinformation, and relay the truth. And we have a group, one of the topics which we have, it was back about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that CARICOM commissioned Pierre and Dunn to do work on human trafficking and migration. And my brother, Ezra Matthias, he did this work looking at human trafficking in Grenada. And their work cannot be published yet because some of the CARICOM countries haven't given the write-off to do that. But they are privy to information that they can disclose. And this will be a robust discussion and lots of surprises about human trafficking and migration in Grenada. And Teddy St. Louis, who is a magistrate in Grenada, will moderate that discussion. So these are the webinar discussions that we have planned for our upcoming reunion. I know there is lots of questions, so I wouldn't take much time, and I do hope in the Q&A we can tease things out a great deal. So from Archer House, despite I'm wearing red here, no bad feeling. ARCHER, Archer.
Thank you, Dwight. Always a bit of humor. Thank you, my brother. Great. So we're swiftly, and we're going to move on to Dr. Zarina Frederick. Zarina is based in Philadelphia, and she is a GBSS alumnus, maybe that's the right word, Zarina. So if you could unmute. And,
she's also Archer.
Also Archer, there we go. Go ahead, Zarina, you have 5 minutes. So
okay. And not Philadelphia, in East Strasbourg in PA, but not Philly. Okay, right. Good day to everyone on the blog, and welcome to this GBSS Alumni Drive 2021. I know for some of you it's very late evening or even night, so thank you for joining our Zoom meeting. Being a brain aneurysm survivor and having had so many of our brothers and sisters passing on, God rest their souls, let's view this as a great opportunity to connect or reconnect with each other after many, many years. Some of us have been through many physical challenges and we're still here. That's why we need to act now. This is our opportunity to make it happen. Let's look at the next step to our success in promoting and hopefully commencing with our planned reunion for December 16th to 22nd, 2021, to be held in our beautiful island of Grenada. We are going to deal with 1, the signing up method, 2, early bird special, and it's a let's deal with the signing up method. Okay, there is a membership fee of US $100. Now, we have decided to help out our less fortunate, and notice I say less fortunate because there are people in Grenada and the extended Caribbean islands that can make the US $100 membership fee. So if you can't, you really can't, we have decided to put into effect an EC $100 membership sign-up fee, and that extends to the Caribbean islands. Okay, you could sign up on the alumni website, www.gbssalumni.com. But for the brothers and sisters in Grenada and the Caribbean who cannot afford the US $100 fee, the contribution will be, as I said before, EC 100, which will be deposited in our account at the Communal Credit Union. And we have the account number on there. It's 113-001050. It would be great if you will communicate with Lennox, Toes Andrews, or Scara, that's Joseph Noel, as to wanting to put in the 100 EC so that you will get your receipt and we will know that you have signed up. So it's important that we do that. Now we have what is called an early bird special. And this discount is available for those signing up for membership and registering for the 2021 reunion. And this discount is available to between now and July 31st, 2021. Notice it ends July 31st. It will be a 20% discount on the assessed cost of the reunion of EC $300 per person, okay? As we hope to secure funding from other entities to help defray the total cost of the week-long function. So remember, it's 20% not of the membership fee, but of the cost per person for the reunion. This registration for the reunion and membership fee, it's important because we need to know that enough people are planning to attend the reunion. We need to engage an event planner and pay the deposit and final payment for her services. We also need to be able to make deposits on the venues for the events planned. We are hoping that we can raise enough funds to help pay for our less fortunate alumni brothers and sisters to attend the reunion. As you have heard before, we are hosting a total of 13 events during the week-long function, even though some will be via Zoom. We have decided to have this Zoom event to encourage, before I even reach there, I want to give you an idea of what you get when you become a registered member. Your membership gives you access to our extensive and secure database of the GBSS alumni website and the ability to network with a wide group for social and commercial purposes. Discounted rates for the activities at our Grand Reunion 2021 in Grenada if you sign up by July 31st. So remember, we want to do that. So it also gives you the opportunity and the ability to subscribe to our alumni website, www.gbss-alumni.com/subscription-plan/. So that is important. Now, I'm going to go to this part. Signing up.
1 minute.
If you're unable to attend the reunion, please make a contribution to help make this a success. Okay, so it is important that we think about attending this function. For me, 4.5 years ago, they actually were crying over my body. They thought I was dead. But here I am after 3 weeks in the intensive care unit and 2 brain surgeries. I'm able to still function at a level. So I have a lot to thank God for. Some of the others did not make it. So let us try to sign up. Let us use this opportunity to get together, to meet each other again, and think about the things that we have gone through, and also to look forward to helping give the same opportunity to our children and grandchildren, you know. And so let us do that and get everybody involved. Please, let's use the discounted rate as of the end of this, before the end of this month, and get on board, okay? Get on board. Let's do this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Serena. That's very passionate. And I'm going to move on now to Carl Roberts, Dr. Carl Roberts. Carl is in Florida. So Carl, if you'd unmute and just say a little bit more about the GBSS-AIF. Yes?
Now, just before you move on.
Sorry, Roger. Yes, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I just want to indicate to Dr. Frederick and others that the Grenada Cooperative Bank would want to get on board in somewhere. So if you can remit me or send me, if you have a proposal already, send it as soon as possible. I could take a look and see in what way we will get on. But certainly we're going to be part of it.
Fantastic. That's great news. Thank you so much. So Carl, you're on just a few minutes to share anything extra regarding the benefits of the AIF. If you'd like to unmute, please.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Are you hearing me?
Yep, we're going loud and clear.
All right. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the to this Mars Zoom meeting. As I can tell by the turnout of this crowd, nearly 50 strong, we have I can already declare this a success. Thank you for turning out and welcome to the session. The wider benefits to everyone in the GBSS AIF, the GBSS Alumni International Foundation, as we develop our Alumni International Foundation brand. This website, the gbssalumni.com, could become the main conduit for a process of remote learning capabilities and human development that is ingrained in our vision to create opportunities for all young people in Grenada through innovative teaching, learning, and mentoring. A few pivotal things that can be accomplished are: one, effective philanthropy, defining success by translating our aspirational goals into specific outcomes, giving deeper thought to exactly who we need to help, which geographical areas we should prioritize based on their individual needs, and how long we are willing to wait to see results. We must be aware of exactly what we are trying to achieve and be able to articulate those goals in the most concrete terms possible. Two, expanding given opportunities and consistency in giving. As we focus on the needs of GBSS students, faculty, and staff primarily, providing similar services to include rural primary and secondary schools will become a factor in transitioning to an expanded workload. I personally believe that this would satisfy our mission to advance GBSS goal for the alumni, the global alumni commitment to improving the quality of education and training for the holistic development of all students. Third, public and community relations. Creative community relations programming and execution include visible participation in community events, social gatherings, for example, anniversaries and milestone celebrations, loyalty and appreciation programs, etc. We can sponsor community development and innovation projects to establish and maintain mutually beneficial relationships with the communities where we live and mentor students or wherever we operate. These are some specific areas that we could make a big difference in the lives of students and people in general while having a positive impact on communities. Of course, a very easy way that every alumnus on this chat can get involved immediately on a personal level is to sign up on our website at gbssalumni.com. You can lend your services by giving back to students and the alma mater. Become a mentor and help in the development of a single GBSS youth. The benefits completely outmatch the effort. Preparing for the 21st century information society means repaving the broken roads, but this time by well-paid, highly skilled people. Using the help of technology, we can pave the way for automation and formal reasoning that we see in computers today, including decision support systems and smart search systems that can be designed to complement and augment human abilities.
1 minute.
These aspects of development are part of artificial intelligence, AI, that are primarily beneficial to governments, businesses, and e-learning educational opportunities, facilitated by a single broadband connection to the internet and hosted by companies across industry.
Hello.
Hello.
AI is
Hello.
integrated in...
Any lunch today?
Can you please mute?
AI, or artificial intelligence, is integrated in many disruptive technologies like IoT, Internet of Things, ICT, information and communications technologies, blockchain technology, it's in cloud computing and big data. It's just across industry. So using these technologies, computers can be trained to accomplish specific tasks by processing extremely large amounts of data and recognizing patterns in the data. The implications, therefore, for positive social change include the potential to share knowledge and dramatically lower barriers to starting a business, creating e-commerce, innovation, and online e-learning opportunities for empowering every citizen in Grenada and improving their socioeconomic position.
Hello.
Brothers and sisters, what I would encourage everyone on the chat to do is sign up immediately and save the date for Reunion 2021. Thank you, everybody, for turning up.
Thank you very much, Carl. That's great. So there you go, guys. So we come to the end. So we got some question and answers here. This is a fantastic little reminder of the food we all went to school for.
Oh, you want to speak?
So I'm going to unshare, and I'm going to ask Everard now to, if you guys could still keep muted, I'd appreciate that.
Oh yeah, get them. I said raise to check.
Not there.
Okay, so Everard, if you want to just unmute and share anything from the chat that's come through, you'd like to bring to. Thank you for putting down, guys, your emails. That's very helpful. If anybody else has anything, Everard.
Yes. So welcome everyone. So we haven't had any questions. Thanks to all of you who have filled in your email addresses and so on. We did have one clarification, and that was about one of the headmasters. His name was missing. That's Osbert Benjamin, right? So that's all we got. So if you have other questions, feel free to chat them in, or I guess Johnny, you could let them just speak. But
Yeah.
There are no questions at this point.
Okay, thanks. So we have a few minutes. I know the UK guys have now gone to football, or will be going to it. I'm going to stop the recording now.